Oh, how the turntables. I'm on Ryan's Onyx, and he is actually on a pedal bike, and he's dying.
I just went up a massive hill, that's what Nick's leaving out.
Yeah, so he's making a video on this bike. I'll leave his channel link down below. You're welcome.
Oh, man,
this rear brake doesn't stop the bike.
No, the other side does.
Yeah, he's got to change his brake pads. You got 1,500 miles. Go ahead, friend.
Also, it's really hard to start the... Oh yeah, I gotta put the seat down a little bit.
Oh yeah, it takes like well, that's as low as it goes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I mean, your legs should be just about fully extended at the base of the pedal stroke.
Yeah, they are. I just can't get started.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're back on a high-powered 72-volt bike, and it feels good. I do miss it. You guys know that I recently sold my custom-built electric mountain bike, 72 volts, and I've been getting some comments asking, you know, what's next for the channel. I've been reviewing a lot of just kind of basic e-bikes. Been having a lot of fun with it, but that's a whole new field to me. But I do have a new, very epic e-bike build in the works. I'm currently ordering all the parts. I got a custom battery made that's on its way from China. So for those of you guys that love custom builds and high power, don't worry, that will be returning to the channel very shortly, and if you want to see all of that, make sure you are subscribed. But I want to use this opportunity to tell you guys a little bit about why I sold my original e-bike build, all the things I learned from it, and how I'm applying that to this new build, because this build is going to be radically different. It should have similar range, the power is going to be a little bit less, but it's going to have advantages in many other areas. Okay, so my previous build, this is what I built the channel off of. I had over 3,300 miles at the time of selling it, and this was a self-converted electric mountain bike. The frame was always very important. This was a Mongoose Ledge X1, and if I was to go back and do it again with the same kind of budget, I would pick the same exact bike. And then the conversion itself was pretty simple. I just went on Amazon and I bought the 2,000 watt 72 volt hub motor kit from NB Power, and then the battery I got from Alibaba, 72 volt 20 amp hour triangle battery. And overall, I would recommend that conversion. It was simple, easy, relatively cheap, you know, relatively, and the performance was amazing. It was just as good as this Onyx, and ultimately that's why I had over 3,000 miles on the thing. It was a phenomenal bike, but it wasn't perfect. I learned a lot of things from it, and let me share some of that with you guys right now. I'm just following him, by the way.
I saw a perfect opportunity in the commuter review to stop at the train station and show how nice this is to literally just ride up.
Bicycle parking.
And like the bike up. I thought about leaving my Onyx like during the day at work, and I just get so nervous. Like,
oh yeah, people will steal this.
Like leaving it all day.
Especially with the lock you have, which is non-existent. But the first thing that really didn't work with that build was the controller and the cable management. Because on a normal bike frame, there's just nowhere to put a massive controller and all the wires coming off of it. So that was something that always bugged me with that build. All right, lead the way. Something else I didn't like is the width of the tires. I've become a big fan of fat tires simply because of the added traction. I ride this thing all year round, even in the winter, and there was a couple of times where I wiped out because I slid on ice. Oh, first crash. Woo. And fat tires might not have prevented all of those incidents from happening, but they definitely would have helped. And my final gripe with that build is that mountain bikes are big. I made a video taking this thing to New York City along with the Onyx. Fantastic video, by the way. Go check it out if you haven't watched it. But it was a nightmare getting that thing on and off the train, up and down escalators. The thing is massive.
Bike? Is that an electric bike?
Oh yeah,
Do you
yeah.
like it?
They're amazing.
Okay, I'm getting one for my husband. I don't know what brand is that?
This is Onyx.
Got it.
Okay, but finally, let's talk about this new build and how I'm going to be applying all of those lessons in this new construction. So the first thing you have to know is that this is going to be the new bike. I'm using the crooked path as the foundation of this build for very specific reasons. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to immediately say, why am I using a folding bike? These things are extremely lame. And it's because if you take a deeper look at this bike, really give it a chance, you're going to see that, at least to me, it's almost a perfect bike frame. So it has the fat tires that I want, it's full suspension, which is fantastic, and the folding mechanism is very important. I can take this almost anywhere I go, but aside from that, this whole down tube is hollow on the inside, so this is where I can place the new controller. Out of sight, super clean, exactly what I want. Now by default, this comes with a 48-volt battery and controller, so of course all that has to go, and the new battery, I decided to go with a 60-volt down tube style battery, and it's going to go right here. It actually fits perfectly. And the form factor of that battery alone is going to be a huge improvement over my last bike because that had a triangle battery, and trying to mount that on a bicycle was extremely difficult. In fact, the biggest struggle I had with that battery was that there's no way to lock it to the bike frame, so it could very easily be stolen. But with this down tube style battery, it bolts onto the bike frame, and then there's a key that locks it in place. So that aspect alone makes it a pretty big upgrade. And the reason why I decided to go with a pretty odd 60-volt battery is because I want to keep the stock Bafang motor. Now there are a lot of great 72-volt direct drive hub motors out there to choose from, but Bafang makes very high quality products, and I like the advantages of a geared hub. And the final main component is the controller. That's what connects the battery to the motor, and for this I went with the frankenrunner. This is essentially a modified ASI 855 controller, and I got the version with the newer L10 connector. And in my view, from all this research I've been doing, that's the one you ideally want because it's quick disconnect, it's waterproof, but it also uses a higher gauge wire, so you don't risk melting it with higher voltage systems. Now, unfortunately, I have the Bafang G60 model, 750 watts, and this comes with the Z916 connector. Now, luckily, there is a very cheap adapter you can pick up, and that solves the issue. But long term, I do plan on upgrading this motor to the newer Bafang G62 model. That's rated at 1000 watts nominal. It's a bit more beefy all around, and by default, that comes with the L10 connector. So eventually, once I do upgrade to that motor, then I can just plug it in directly to that new controller. So there we go. That's going to be the next bike build on this channel. It's pretty different, I will admit, but I think it's really going to come together pretty nicely. I really am a huge fan of this bike frame. It looks good, it folds in half, I can hide the controller and all the wires inside, fat tires, full suspension. So that's the bike, along with all my plans for upgrading. I ordered all the parts, and it should be in within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did and you're still watching, I appreciate a like on the video. Go ahead and leave a comment on your thoughts. Do you think there's a better bike frame out there or a better approach? Let me know in the comments. I'll be very interested to read what you guys have to say. But I'll see you guys in the next one.